All right, everybody. Very warm welcome. The highest in me. Bow to the highest in you. I'd like to welcome you to this session by Idanim on the topic of equanimity. Please sit comfortably. If you're in a place where you can turn your videos on, it's always nice to see some of you, get a little feedback. But if you can't, that's fine as well. So today's practice will be on perhaps one of the most important qualities, the quality of balance of mind, equanimity. We'll explore this in a few different ways. So I invite you to sit comfortably. If you want to close your eyes, that's fine. If you want to keep them half open, that's also okay. So suit yourself. Hands can be in any comfortable position. So equanimity means balance of mind, which means not getting too excited when wanted things are happening, pleasant things are happening, and not getting too dejected, too disappointed when unwanted, unpleasant things are happening. Having balance of mind. A good image I can think of is a bottle that's half filled with water and a bottle that's half filled, a different bottle that's half filled with honey. You shake the bottle that's half filled with water, and the water splashes all over the place inside the bottle. But when you shake the bottle that's half filled with honey, the honey doesn't move all that much. So equanimity is like the bottle half filled with honey. Your inner peace is not so easily shaken by the events, words, and actions of the people around you, things around you. Most of our life, we tend to avoid the very unpleasant experiences. We're trying to reach towards some kind of peak experience. But equanimity is what's called a valley experience. That is finding a lot of fulfillment, a lot of contentment, just with just the way things are, with the body the way the body is, with the mind the way the mind is. In fact, with everything just the way it is. While most of society, most of the world considers getting what you want and experiencing the pleasures of life as happiness, all the wise ones across traditions, across religions, across time, have all said that true happiness is balance of mind, equanimity of mind. In both the ups and downs of life, can you keep your equilibrium? And I'd actually like to say that you already do. And some of you will say, no, you don't know me. I don't. But I'd like to insist that you already do. No matter what's happening in your life, there's a part of you that remains sky-like. What do I mean by sky-like? Many different kinds of weather systems come and go. Sky is not affected. Sky just is. No matter how big the storm on the surface of the ocean, the depth of the ocean, not a single grain of sand moves. In the same way, there's a part of you that has always been equanimous, that hasn't been affected by childhood events, events in your youth. Neither has it become better through some learning, nor has it become tainted by some setback. That's really wonderful to know. Even to hear such things is rare. So the equanimity I want to point to today is not the equanimity of emotions. That's also there, but that's not what I'm pointing to. The equanimity I'd like to point to today is the natural equanimity, the nature of your being. If it wasn't there by now, perhaps you and I would have gone crazy. We've had so many disappointments in life, so many heartbreaks. Loved ones have passed on. Deep, deep setbacks. All of us have had it. If you think you've had more than others, you just haven't heard their story yet. But here we are in this moment. I'm pretty sure all of you are just fine. Yeah, maybe you're slightly uncomfortable for some reason or the other, but actually you're fine. How do I know you're fine? Because something deep inside of you is sky-like, is like the depth of the ocean. We're so used to identifying ourselves with our body, the words and actions of our body. We're so used to identifying ourselves with our thoughts and our emotions and physical sensations that we imagine that if you're having an emotional reaction or a negative thought, or we're obsessing about something, that means we are far away from equanimity. But I would like to point out that no, even in that moment, there's a part of you that's completely equanimous, completely unshaken. And so, what we're learning today is not so much to develop equanimity, but to notice the equanimity that's already there. It's always been there. And make that our foundation instead of identifying with what's happening at the body level or the mind level or life level. What if I tell you that you are the screen on which this life is projected, on which this whole universe is projected? Many different movies will play on the screen, images will show up on the screen. But the screen always remains unaffected, untainted, unpainted, unchanging, forever clean. There's no better thing I can do for any of you than to introduce you to this part of yourself. It's literally the best gift I can give you. There is a part of you that is undefined and unconfined and unlimited, not limited by any of the events of your life. Isn't that just the best news? I don't think human ears can hear better news than that. It's another matter that some of you might find that hard to believe. But just keep that aside for now. Just be open to the possibility that something in you is indestructible. And I'll show you how in shortly, guide you through that. But for now, just be open to that possibility. Rest in that possibility. For too long, we've believed that our happiness and our well-being is dependent on life events, on things going a certain way in our life, on more wanted things happening, and unwanted things either never happening or rarely happening. For too long, we've been fooled by that assumption. And I'm here to remind you today that it's not true. Wanted things will happen, unwanted things will happen. Wanted things will not happen, unwanted things will not happen. And there's a part of you that's completely untouched by any of that, unscarred by any of that. The only problem is if you try to experience it. You think, Nitya, I want to experience that. And I'm here to tell you, I'm sorry, you can't. Be like, why? You can't experience what you are. You can just be what you are. You can only experience what you're not. A tooth cannot bite itself. Another tooth may be able to bite it, but a tooth cannot bite itself. Fire cannot burn itself. Water cannot wet itself. That's why your attempt to experience this part of yourself will always fail. You save yourself a lot of trouble by just realizing, I can't know it, I can't understand it. And that's okay because I am it. That's who I am. Now Now, you might think that this body is going to die one day, and I'm here to tell you, no, it won't. You might be surprised to hear that. But it's true, isn't it? The hydrogen in your body will remain hydrogen. The oxygen in your body will remain oxygen. The carbon in your body will remain carbon. The magnesium, potassium, zinc, all those calcium supplements you've been having, it'll remain that. Even death can't change. The death can't kill the carbon in your body, can't kill the oxygen in your body. All that has happened is that the arrangement will change, the shape will change. But the shape has been changing our whole life anyway. So death is also not a problem. But what about the mind? But every night you lose your mind, isn't it, when you sleep? Maybe you have dreams, maybe you don't. But in a way, you lose your mind. For many hours, there is no mind. The mind is all energy. Or they say that thoughts are they are light signals, electric signals passing in between the synapses. Electricity, light, and electricity. Well, electricity and light is not going to die for sure. And so, similarly, everybody else in our life, the people in our life, they have bodies and minds. All the things in our life, they're made of matter, which is made of elements. Everything's made of energy and matter, isn't it? You literally cannot lose anything. And so you don't have to control anything. You don't have to fear anything. Let the movie play the way it wants to play. This is known as equanimity. There's a part of you that's always just a detached observer. Always, only a detached observer. No preference, no agenda, no desires.
Please allow us a minute. We are checking with Idanim.
So staying with this equanimity, letting things be the way they are, letting things unfold the way they do. So literally the best news I can ever give you is that there's a part of you that is undefined, unconfined, untainted, unpainted by any happening whatsoever. Today, we're not talking about emotional equanimity. That's also great to have. One thing that can help with emotional equanimity is a very simple statement: this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Remind yourself of that many, many times, both in the good times, so called good times, and the so called bad times. When you remind yourself in the so called good times, pleasant times, this too shall pass, makes you value those moments more. When you remind yourself in the so called bad times, not pleasant times, unwanted times, difficult times, then it gives you patience, forbearance at an emotional level. To go one level deeper, don't just mentally say it, feel it. Notice how your breath is changing, heart is beating, sensations throughout the body are pulsating, vibrating. Notice that directly. This will lead to emotional equilibrium. Also, notice that people and events never trouble you. They just can't. It's impossible. Until you think about it, please notice this carefully. Only when you think about it a certain way, it troubles you. That's why people can perform in theater, perform in movies. Very ghastly things. They can be fighting and murder, and everything can happen in a play. People aren't affected. They know it's a play, the drama going on. But why do we get affected? We take it personally. We think it's happening to us, then it really hurts, really bothers us. Don't take it personally. Nothing that's happening here is personal. It's an impersonal unfolding. One of my teachers, Byron Katie, I love this quote of hers. She says, your life is not your business. Wow. My life is not my business. Some of you might be shocked to hear this, but try it on. Sometimes it's nice to hear shocking things. Your life is not your business. See what happens. Heart is still beating, food is still digesting, hair is still growing, thoughts are still coming. What's the problem? You just stopped interfering. You just stopped assuming you're in control. You just stopped trying to direct the flow of this life in this or that direction. Amazing. Amazing. So we've looked at two levels of equanimity here. One is the natural inbuilt equanimity, which all of you have always had. Doesn't matter if you ever meditated or not, thought about these things or not. Still always there. There's a part of you that's untouched by any of your life events. This is not a matter of believing. Go and check. I'll tell you how to check. It always takes something to be unhappy. It takes nothing to be happy. That proves that you're fundamentally okay. Notice it takes something to be unhappy. You have to think of some thought or compare your present situation to some other situation. You have to do something to be unhappy. But in the moments you're not doing anything, you're completely okay, isn't it? You may think happiness, some kind of ecstasy, some kind of deep bliss, but that would be a problem. You can't sustain deep bliss all the time. That'll be painful. Too much excitement for the nerves. Happiness is very ordinary, like breathing air, drinking water, walking on the land. No need to walk in the sky, no need to walk on water. So we've talked about the inbuilt equanimity that we all have, which is always there, maybe rarely noticed. And we've also talked about emotional equanimity, which is something you can develop. You develop it by reminding yourself that this too shall pass. Everything changes. Not just reminding yourself mentally, but feeling it, noticing it directly. Yeah, it does change. The words I'm hearing now, they're changing. The feelings I'm having now are changing. Even as I'm in this moment, they're changing. And recognizing that things only bother us when we think about them a certain way, with resistance. If you were to welcome the experience, if you were to be grateful about it, or not think too much about it, wouldn't bother you. So that's the practice for today, equanimity. I got a chance to practice it myself because the internet went off during the session. I don't know if you noticed. And had to switch from the Wi-Fi to my phone. But that's exactly it, right? We practice it exactly when unexpected things happen, wanted things don't happen, unwanted things do happen. There's a part of us that's completely stable, unaffected. More than my will, that life's will be done, that God's will be done. You trust that intimate and infinite intelligence, which manages everything. Very nice. If you'd like to take a few deep breaths and emerge from the practice, that's fine. If you'd like to stay on for a few minutes for some interaction, you're welcome. And if you'd like to leave, that's also fine. Good to practice with you. And if you have a comment or a question, please raise your hand and we can unmute you. Yes, Charulata, go ahead.
Sir, namaste.
Namaste.
Uh, is the soul inbuilt equanimity?
I would say that, yeah. The soul is that individuated consciousness which just knows our this life's experiences. Could call it personalized, reflected consciousness. The soul is, I would say, inbuilt equanimity. In the scriptures, it says, like you and I change clothes at the end of the day, we change our clothes.
Huh.
So the soul changes bodies like that. So, of course, if it changes bodies as easily as clothes, then it cannot be that affected by
Hmm.
what happens within life, right? So I think you're right. It is equanimity.
Does experiences affect the soul? Life experiences?
To the extent that things reflected in a mirror affect the mirror. We talk about young souls and old souls and all of that, but the reality is the oldness of a soul is simply its recognition of its mirror-like quality. The more you realize that actually everything you're experiencing is just you. You think with other people, but it's actually just a reflection of you.
Hmm.
So I would say no experience affects the soul, just like no reflection affects the mirror. But maybe over a
Hmm.
long period of time, since it's mind, body, and mind work in time, that little by little the soul starts realizing that, hey, I was always identifying with the what was reflected, but actually I'm not defined by any of this.
Hmm.
So in that sense, it doesn't affect, but in a way, maybe it does affect that you wake up to the drama of life and you don't take it as seriously anymore.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you, Charlotte. Nice question. Would anyone else like to share something or ask something? Madhuri, you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like some one thing always puzzles me when you reach this stage of equanimity, when you're trying to reach there, but as mortals, as part of this society, you are expected to react in certain way. So when you remain equanimous, you are labeled as you're not bothered about anything. So how do you deal with that?
True, true.
I face
Yeah,
this problem.
right. See, whether you're equanimous or not, you're going to be labeled. Even if you're not equanimous, you'll be labeled. You'll be the drama queen, yeah, a very sensitive person, very reactive person. And then if you're equanimous, they'll think, "Aap murda ho kya? Aap mar gaye ho kya? You're dead or something." You're like, you not have any feelings or what? Nothing affects you or what? So in this world, we're all going to be labeled Madhuri. In fact, your name begins with mad. Accept it, right? Your name begins with mad. Own your madness, right? सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? The biggest affliction is what will people say. So whether or not we are equanimous, people will say things about us. People said things about Ramakrishna Paramahans. They thought he was mad. They said things about the Buddha. A lot of people thought he's a misguided person. They've said things about every Guru Nanak faced a lot of criticism in his lifetime. So we will all face criticism in our lifetime, and so that is part of our equanimity. So we'll not look at it so much. If you began by saying, as mortal souls who are in society, I'm here to tell you, you are not a mortal soul. You're not in society. Why are you believing that? That's a thought that you're having. Right now, you're sitting. This is a nice society. In this society, you're okay to be here. It's when
Yeah.
you forget this, you start thinking, I'm mortal. No, it's when you live, really seriously. When you start thinking, I'm mortal, what will society say? That's when you, and even the question is going to make you heavy, actually. In the moments you had no such question, you're actually quite okay. Now, this question came, yeah, but in society. And now the drama has begun. There's no society. You're making it up. There's no such thing. It's
You know
just a dream.
this phase
Yeah,
when
go
you're
ahead.
just moving from being attached to being detached, it's a bit at times gets scary, and you want to just run back to what is familiar.
Sure, sure.
So this is how do you I mean, I keep dealing with it, but ups and downs रहते हैं.
तो माधुरी जी ये देखिए कि आपको डील करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. The one that's getting affected, the one that's getting scared, is the troublemaker. The real
I
you
know
is not
that.
getting scared. The
Yeah.
troublemaker is only getting scared. The troublemaker, what just happened? What just happened? How come Madhuri is not having so many thoughts these days, or emotional reactions these days? What's going to happen? That's the troublemaker that's getting afraid. You're not getting afraid. You just keep alternating between this. Okay, just throughout the day, just notice when there are many thoughts, what's the state like? And when there's witnessing of everything, including thoughts, even if it's for a few seconds, right? Witnessing, okay, this is what it is like, right? You'll find you're absolutely okay. It's absolutely peaceful.
Yeah.
That peace actually never goes away. It's like they say the sun sets, but you and I know sun never sets.
Yeah.
The earth rotates and looks like the sun sets, looks like the sun rises. So that's an illusion. The illusion that something will happen, something's going to happen. And like you said, we are moving from this to that. So I'm here to tell you, you're not moving from anything to anything. There's nowhere to move. You are
Yeah.
that. I'm serious. I'm not even making this up. I'm not even trying to convince you of anything. That is the reality. The sun is not moving. It appears like it's moving. So nothing is moving, and you're not moving from attachment to detachment or anything. You are that. You literally are that. Right? And the one who's getting perturbed and doubtful and all, that's the troublemaker. So don't look from the perspective of the troublemaker.
Okay.
And you just tell the troublemaker, you tell the troublemaker one thing. I have listened to you for many, many years, and the results are clear. So no, I'm not going to listen to you.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm not going to listen to you. You see how it goes. It'll be lovely.
Thank you.
So nice. Yeah, lovely. Minnie is asking for. This word is new to me, though we know the concept, but we keep that part of our reality subdued. Yeah. At kids, you were like this, but we need to practice equanimity. Yeah. Yeah. So we use the word practice, but actually, I'm here to point out there's no practice. You are that. In fact, you have to, in a way, you're practicing. Most of us are practicing too many things. What does it mean practicing too many things? We're trying to get somewhere with our thoughts, with our actions, even with our meditation. We're trying to get somewhere. What if you don't try to get anywhere? I'm serious. What if you don't even try to get to equanimity? Equanimity means being okay with the way things are. So then be okay with your current level of equanimity. That's equanimity. I'll say it again. Can you be okay? Some of you think you're very emotional people. You get very affected. When people die, you get very affected. When you lose something, you get very affected. So I'm going to say, can you be okay and deeply okay with your current level of equanimity? That's equanimity. Otherwise, again, you have a mental idea of how it should be, how it's supposed to look. After many years of practice, I'll become like that. No, don't become like anything. Be the way you are. Yeah, I hope you're getting it, Mini. Very nice. Anybody else wants to say or ask something? Great. It really is good news to hear these things. It's very rare to hear these things. When someone tells you that there's a part of you that is unaffected by the story of your life, by the content of your life. So rare to hear these things. Most people are just busy trying to improve their lives. Right? So here we are telling you, yeah, improve or don't. That's all right. That'll happen in any case. We all, at a biological level, we'll all try to improve our situation. But fundamentally, nothing's out of place. There's no problem. If you can receive this message, it'll be a real blessing that cuts through everything. Beautiful. Let's be quiet for a few seconds before we end. Wonderful. Thank you all for joining. Be well.